the Battle Tavern.
Hey, you know what?
Greg, the boy! The boy who
Well, welcome to the Battle Tavern! Yeah, that's what I got today.
Let's give a nice warm welcome back to Father Mineral here. Cole is finally back with us from a nice long trip from Portugal. We'd like to see it.
Let's get some
He
claps.
says it was
Let's
a
get
work trip, but in
Oh,
reality,
we don't have fucking we don't have that sound effect yet.
That's right.
nope.
Yeah.
Clap, 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 clap,
That's
Yay.
it. Clip it.
Clip it.
that sounds like a different kind of clap.
Do it clap. Do it clap, Drew. Right. Oh, welcome. Thanks, guys. No, it was great. We're I'm still confused. I flew in Friday. It's now Sunday. My sleep schedule is terrible because when I go to bed at 10 p.m., it is 3 a.m. their time. So I feel exhausted and very confused of what time it is. It feels much later than it should be. So we'll see how today goes because honestly, I'm lost.
In the sauce?
Welcome to international travel, Cole. It sucks sometimes.
We
Dude,
get
I-
Drew.
Call me Mr.
Rich.
Worldwide at this point, honestly.
Ah.
Dude, I'm literally living my pitbull life right now. I went from
Worldwide
negative to
infinity.
positive. I want y'all to know
Set the
that.
world on fire.
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo while you're over there.
He actually
No, okay, so
won them.
really quick. This is the quick
And you
fact that I
want
need to
them.
tell you guys about Portugal. This
Okay.
is a real fact that I had to learn, and this is maybe the ignorance of like the US not knowing. So there is Portugal, and then there's these islands that belong to Portugal that are like hundreds of kilometers away. They are not like you could look at the actual part of Portugal. They are more close to like halfway to the Caribbean than they are to Portugal, and that's where Cristiano Ronaldo's from. I had to learn this because I was like,
Wow.
"Oh, where is he from?" And someone's like, "These little islands way away," and it is hilarious. I was like,
Like bro's from
no.
Portugal,
I was like, no,
but
like
not
where?
actually from Portugal.
From a wee
Pretty
little
much.
island.
So seriously, there are these little islands. I need to find the name of them, but yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, no Ronaldo.
So I mean, you went over there for work, right? That's what it was for.
Pretty sure went over there for the prostitutes.
That's
no,
what it was.
Don't tell Chelsea.
dude. Not
Well, it's not like she's ever going to listen to this.
I
podcast
literally
or
had-
anything.
Dude, I had like no time to do anything. I think we had one weekend there, and
Yeah.
we walked like the city. So I was in their capital city of Lisbon, and we walked the city one day, and then the other went and literally took like electric bikes and rode the coast. It was really sweet.
Oh, I love those. I love those. They're so much fun.
Dude, those e-bikes, all right, if you guys have never ridden an e-bike, like, it does not matter your size, does not matter your height, like, you do not need to pedal these things. You basically, like, casually pedal, and these things get you zooming. Like, it is
Yeah,
nuts.
like the
These
only
things
thing
are
it requires you to do is slightly pedal, and then it does everything else.
Yeah, I need to know. So like these things, and I'm Googling it for the conversion. So you could go 25 to 30 kilometers per hour on it. So I'm going like 15 to 18 miles per hour on this e-bike, and I'm not pedaling. Like these things move. They were pretty sweet. I
They like their
really,
bikes.
really enjoyed it. Yeah, they were sick. And it was nice because you could rent it for like 15 euros an hour for like 2 or 3 hours. So it was, I mean, fairly cheap to go and like ride a bike around. And
What's the
everywhere,
conversion
like
rate
they have
on
bike
euros
lanes.
for dollars?
It's like a
5.
little bit, like barely over. It's like barely over $1 to get a euro. So like in US, that would probably be like $18 to rent for 2 or 3 hours, which isn't. I mean, it's not bad.
No.
Not bad.
Maybe a little less than that, but maybe I'm overestimating. But yeah.
So, what kind of episode is it today?
Oh boy, are you in for a treat.
Oh, Colin, you got
It's
this?
a
Yeah,
talking
Colin's gonna
episode.
introduce us.
All right, so
Yeah.
today we're doing something special. We're going to do a little meet your cast so that our audience can actually get to know who's talking behind the little screen here or whatever you're listening on. Anybody care to go first, or you want me to start us off today?
Well, let me clear something up first. Like,
Okay.
what exactly is the template here for meeting or cast? Like,
Yeah,
what?
so you can be as general or specific as you would like. I personally am just gonna go kind of a timeline route, just get to know me, where I'm from, kind of growing up, what kind of things I like to do, hobbies, where I am now, how I got there, kind of that
All of your
general thing.
deep insecurities.
Yep, I got my little diary right here, so I'm gonna read
Insecurities.
a couple
Perfect.
passages from.
Yep.
He's reading it in chronological order. This is gonna
That's
be a
right,
long one
that's
today,
right.
fellas.
There better be
Yeah,
an
so I can
annotated
go first and give you
bibliography I
guys
can.
kind of idea
What's
too.
born?
All right,
All
yeah,
right.
let's hear it.
Little life of Colin Thompson here. Born in
I might.
Ypsilanti, if you didn't know that.
If you guys didn't know, Colin is actually a man of mystery, so any information on him is quite
That's right.
rare.
The
Yeah, and Colin,
the
because in case of the chance we ever go more widespread, throw in the state too, so people guess what
no, they
year
gotta
it
look this
is.
up. That's a funny story actually. I went
Look,
to
Oh,
Disney World
there's
one
not too
time.
many
Google machine.
Ypsilanti.
Oh.
Look, there's not too many Ypsilantis out there. Let's be real for a second.
Yeah,
And I mean, when
So
when I say where
Michigan
I'm
for
Yeah,
all
from,
you
it's
can
you
gonna
just
be
find
international
150 of
listeners.
them. Yeah, for all you
Anyway, when
international
we were
listeners,
little, we went
we
to
are somewhere in the world.
Disney one time, and they did like the Nemo for all the kids and stuff. And Crush the turtle was there asking kids stuff, and he picked me, and he's like, "Oh, where are you from?" And I was like, "Tecumseh." And my parents in the back were like,
And
"Michigan,"
he's like, "Wow."
like we're in a different state, buddy. So yeah. Anyway,
I
born
like
in
the idea
Ipsy.
of you saying that, and he's confused. Like, ugh.
Cool town with no specification.
Small town trash.
Yep.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck
Um.
spelling that. So
Yeah. Look it up. It'll be worth it. I was about 2 or 3 years old, I believe, when we moved to Tecumseh, yet again in Michigan. Grew up there for all my childhood. Went to elementary there. Ran a little in the mileage club, is what I remember from that. Me and my buddy Jeff Case. I'll talk about him a little more later, actually, with running. But we actually hit the Bigfoot milestone. I don't remember what they were, but you get the little feet for every like 10 or something. But we hit like 100 miles overall or whatever. It was super cool. We got Subway for lunch one day. That's all I remember from elementary. Middle school in Tecumseh also. Nothing noteworthy there. Just kind of went through the grades. Ours was 5th through 8th for middle school. I know some people have different grades there. 6th grade had my first kiss. Great times.
You are really
Got to
so
got
who
to
was
high
the lucky
school.
guy?
Yeah. No, actually, it was funny. It was a group
Was
of
it this
us that
Jeff
would.
guy?
I said he'd be back, right?
It was a group.
Um.
He's like, it was a group of guys, and they all were
Yeah,
getting
that's
ready for
right.
his first kisses. Yeah.
No, there's like 3 or 4 like couples or whatever you'd call them because it's middle school that would go get ice cream sometimes after school. So it was behind this little ice cream shop. I had my first kiss. What a great time.
hmm
So then that led to high school. Still at Tecumseh. Did a little more there. A couple of sports. Ran cross country all 4 years. I was co-captain my senior year with Jeff Case. So there comes the running. It was a fun time. I really liked that. A little bit of leadership experience, a lot of team bonding. Also bowled for a couple years. I really liked that. My dad is a huge bowler, so it was nice to have something to bond. And played orchestra all through middle and high school, so I have a bit of a musical background, which actually
What do you
led
play?
double bass, stand up.
How did I not know that about
Yep,
you?
8 years of double bass.
Okay.
Nothing like lugging around a 20-pound
Yeah.
object in
Yeah.
the worst shape ever every other weekend to a concert. But it did lead to something awesome when 3 of my buddies and I actually started a little high school band our senior year, and we were able to play a little bit of rock is what we kind of stayed with, soft rock kind of hits. I played electric bass in that, and we actually were able to play at a couple of our friends' graduation parties, paid gigs, so those were nice.
I'm gonna be honest. You seem like a yacht rock kind of guy.
I'm trying to think. We played some Black Keys, White Stripes, Arctic Monkeys, that kind of
Oh,
thing.
and the
Yeah,
fun fact
it was
and the
nice.
fun fact that I remember from Colin is he showed me one time is that he actually did a music video when he was in college.
Yes.
What was that?
Let's go. I think that was just one of our recordings. Is that the one you're talking about?
And I think he was like random videos of like the city, right? Was that the one you were showing me?
Oh, you're talking about that's college. I'll get to that. Remind me when I
Yeah.
talk about Eastern.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was college.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, was in a band, played for a couple graduation. Then we actually played for my high school graduation. We were able to play closing time, which was really cool to do for our class. And then after that, right after we graduated for our last concert, we actually played for the city of Tecumseh. They were doing a like heroin awareness something concert and had a couple local bands, and we were asked to play there. So that was another cool kind of finale gig. We actually were discussing or were asked about furthering that group event by some. I guess he was whatever you call it when they're looking for active talent recruiter. We were like, nope, we're all going to
Talent
different
scout?
colleges. Yes. So we were unfortunately already splitting up and had plans, so that never happened. But then I went to college. First year went to Eastern Michigan, where I did actually take a little music video. I forget which song it was from, but we had this cool little group of us that would hang out all the time. And someone was recording clips here and there, and so we finally decided to do something. I believe it was just a song about Ypsilanti, actually. And we record. It's probably still on YouTube if you look it up. If I knew the song, that would help. But I did do that. Showed them. It was a pretty cool thing. Then I actually transferred to Central, where
Woo!
I finished my degree and met these fine gentlemen, Father Mineral and Stiffle D. Yep, good time there. Good time there. Achieved my mathematics
Horrible time.
degree. Got to live with 4 other
That's the best
guys
parts of
for a
that.
year. No, it was
That
fun.
was
That
the
was
COVID
nice.
year. The coveted
Yep.
COVID
Yeah.
year.
So if 4 other guys wasn't already too much, we were also locked inside with each other.
So what did we do? We played D&D.
Yes, we did. Some great
That is
memories there. We need
straight
to have a
facts.
D&D day where we just
We
talk
should
about
have a
that.
D&D
Oh,
podcast.
Ooh, we could. We could schedule,
oh
yeah,
my
like
God.
a special. But anyway,
Yep.
played some volleyball
We
at
could talk about
Central
the best
actually,
moments.
from club. And
And we play
then
well, and to add to that, we did used to play
oh, we did.
almost every Sunday for like probably a year and a half.
Oh my
A
god,
lot
I
of
miss it
Sundays,
so
some
much.
Tuesdays, and we would
Yeah.
literally play full court. And we played a stupid amount. It was really
Yeah,
fun.
there were weekends where we would have 15, 20 people there just ready to
was-
play.
Oh
And
my
then like
God,
a
dude,
whole
that was
nother
awesome. I remember
like
that.
set of people would
Yep.
like sometimes it'd be like a whole other set of people doing
Come
the
and
same thing we were
challenge
doing.
us,
And I was
dude.
like,
Oh
hey,
yeah. Oh
yeah.
yeah. That was good times.
And then our senior year though, we tried like one time. We went to one of those volleyball courts that were like outside of one of the dorms, you know?
Yeah.
And yep. And then like after that, we just couldn't keep people consistent because like we said, it was the COVID
Yeah,
year,
the COVID, so
and it
people
was
dropped
hard to get
off,
into
couldn't
the
come.
gym, and yeah.
Yep. It was a good
I
time
think it was
though.
easier.
I'm still upset about it.
People don't like football as much. I think.
Yeah. But I actually was able to coach volleyball too. So
True
Yeah,
story.
you coached at
yep.
Shepherd, right?
Yep.
He
It was
learned
local high school.
he learned
Freshman.
everything he knew from haiku.
That's right.
That's what they tell me.
But that was a
You
good
gotta watch out for that
experience.
crow's eye.
I wouldn't mind coaching again. That was a fun time, honestly.
No, coaching is overrated. Don't get stuck into it. You'll be there forever.
Hey,
You
Kyle,
can leave
you
whenever
wanna
you
you
want.
want a
Get
job?
bullied by small children and
You want a job, Colin? You want a job? I'll give you a job.
Yeah, I know. I got it in the back of my mind if I ever need it.
I got you, bro.
Well, he wants to do
Oh,
volleyball, Judd.
Yeah, volleyball would be awesome.
Hey, man. Shut the fuck up.
You guys have so many coaches, and then you have another one coming in at some point. So I don't want to hear it.
Hey, Drew.
What?
I'm trying to expand. Okay. Right now, there's talks of us taking over downriver as well. So you better zip it, Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah,
River.
we might. Yeah, we might have another.
So
full
anyway,
team
to
here.
wrap up my self-description,
Yeah, sorry,
I
Colin. We're sorry.
enjoyed school so much that I actually continued upon Central and am currently finishing up my
Lame.
master's in computer science. So by this time next year, I will have completed 20 years of schooling and have a master's.
Woo!
All right, and
20
that's a little bit
years.
about Colin Thompson.
That's miserable.
So I will hand it off to anyone else.
I feel like you should popcorn it to somebody, Colin.
Oh, I gotta choose. I want to hear Pugs. I know a little bit. That's the least one I know about. So let's go 0 to 100.
What did you say, Cole?
Facts. I said, "Yer." Yeah, facts.
Man.
Dude, Pugs has got a lot going.
I've lived a slightly different life than most people. So
So I came
it's
out of
Dude,
the womb.
I need to go take a break. I need to
blazing.
get gone for the next 20 minutes.
God.
so it all started back in Prince's year of '99, right? So I was actually born in Dearborn. Matter of fact, I was born in the Oakwood Hospital there.
That's
But
California, right?
Gross.
sure, but that happened. We moved around a couple of times. I vaguely remember we lived in Taylor for a little bit before we moved to the house that's in New Boston, which is really small township that nobody else really knows about either. My parents split when I was about 6 or 7. My mom lived between Detroit and Lincoln Park and everything. My dad stayed in New Boston. I stayed going to school in New Boston because they didn't want me going to those schools out there. But I made that commute every day for God knows how many years up until graduation, all that fun stuff. I'm just trying to think of like what I can talk about, honestly. But I mean, you figure between the two places, there really wasn't anything to do in New Boston because like there was a cornfield in front of my house. There was nothing to do. I didn't have any friends out there. All my friends were in Lincoln Park, but they were not the greatest influences, I guess you could say. I was the good influence, which is saying a lot, all right? But I remember like Lincoln Park, I remember my mom used to hate it when I would go up to the park to play basketball or something like that because I was really into basketball for the longest time. But she hated whenever I would go up there or go up to the baseball field next to it. And that's where I got introduced to the N-word for the first time. It was great. I was like 8 years old. But that was one part of it. High school, I mean, throughout school in general, I went all the way through New Boston Huron's district, from well, actually, even from like preschool and kindergarten up through Brown Elementary, which is one of the 2 elementaries in the district. Went to Renton Junior High and then Huron High. Played basketball, played football. I did wrestling. I even did track and field my senior year of high school. I did throwing, which turned out I was pretty good at that, and I was just bored one day. But the biggest thing that took over a part of my life was band. I was a big music and band nerd. There was actually a point in time where I could play, I think it was 12 or 13 different instruments at a collegiate or a professional level. Could I do that anymore? Absolutely not. I'm a bit out of practice at this point, but I still have like my trombone and my trumpet and stuff like that to where if I did want to mess around with it, I absolutely could. But you talk about like different gigs and stuff like that. I used to do jazz gigs all the time. I used to do different concerts. I had DSYO that I played for at one point. And I remember freshman year was a great year, gave me a great impression of the music program. Then my sophomore year, they brought in this other teacher who is just not good at her job, man. She ruined that program, like for real. Let me put it this way. I had kids coming up to me to ask me questions before they would go and ask this lady, which is really messed up, you know. But along with that, that also led to the line of how I wanted to get into teaching. That's been something I've been trying to do for years. It's been a constant struggle because school's expensive and life keeps kicking me while I'm down because that's just the way it works, right? But after high school, I also attended Eastern my freshman year. I was
Ooh.
there for a double major in music education and music performance. I was in the Eastern marching band and everything, band number 1, 2, 3, easy enough to remember. That was a great time. I'm trying to think here. Dude, there's so many parties and stuff that I went to while I was at Eastern too. I got invited to everything because I was really cool with all the sports management guys. I was really cool with all the football team and the band nerds, all that fun stuff. So I got the invite from everybody for everything, you know. And luckily enough, my roommates, they were cool enough. They wanted to come with me all the time too. My buddies Quinn and Brian. Oh, and how can I forget all this? I skipped right over the part where I got this ever so lasting nickname that I've been stuck with since I was a freshman in high school. So, um, I'll give a quick breakdown about how that happened, right? So, I got done with 8th grade. I'm going to pre-camp and everything for marching band for high school. I'm not even a freshman yet, technically. This is like 2 or 3 weeks before school even starts. And we're doing basics, all that stuff. I'm walking in with my buddy and we're BS and I'm like, man, why does everybody call me by my last name? It's never my first name. And it always kind of, I shouldn't say it irked me or bothered me, but it kind of did because it's like, I was given this name. Why does nobody ever use it? Why is it always my last name? I felt like people got a sense of accomplishment out of actually pronouncing my last name right because it looks fucked up. But I'm walking in, and then I see my teacher walking up, Mr. Her, best teacher I've ever had in my life. Right, this is one of my favorite dudes ever. And I ask him, like, "Hey, man, why is it that everybody calls me by my last name?" And he looks at me, and he's like, "You want the honest to God answer?" I'm like, "Well, yeah. I wouldn't want you to lie to me about stupid shit like that." He looks at me, and he says, "There are 7 in this band." So, so I think about it for a second. And I'm like, you know what? You're 100% right. There are too many of us, and I should just move on from this. He's like, no, no, no. You want me to call you something? I'll call you something else. I happen to be wearing a shirt that said "Pugs Not Drugs" on it, right? And
Oh
he said,
no.
"Oh, you want me? I'll call you Pugs." I'm like, no, 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 no. That's fine. I totally get where you're coming from. Next morning comes around, he's calling people up for like permission slips and papers for actual band camp and stuff, right? And lo and behold, he gets to my name where my name should be, and he says Pugs. Now everyone's kind of quiet. They're looking around like, who the fuck is he talking about? And of course, I'm a freshman. Nobody knows who I really am yet. Yes, I was. Don't get me wrong. I was a dog on the trombone. I was pretty good. But nobody really knows who I am just yet. And so he doubles down on it, right? He stares at me. We're in the back of the band room by the trombone closet and everything. He stares at me. He's like, Pugs? And so I'm like, fine. I walk up there, I grab my stuff, walk away, and that was it, right? Now, just to build on this a little bit, because I thought I got rid of it for a little while too. So my senior year of high school, literally the day before graduation, I'm helping with certain things as far as setting up for the big day, right? And he pulls me aside. He's like, "Hey, man, real quick, I just wanna let you know something real quick." I'm like, "Oh, what's up, man? This is Mr. Her I'm talking about." He's like, "Hey, by the way, that name was never supposed to stick." And I'm like, "You son of a bitch!" Look, I was so mad. I was like, "You." I didn't get a choice, man. I was a small, impressionable freshman, and you did this to me without me knowing. And now I'm stuck with it at this point. Now, I go to Eastern at this point, right? I go away. Nobody here knows me except one person in the band. Her name is Emily. Dog ass drummer, right? But she didn't out me, but she was the only one that knew me as Pugs, right? Because that's just the way it was. Me and her were in the same grade for forever. But we get to our first performance, we get to our first game and everything. We get done with pregame. It was awesome. I'm having a great time. I'm pumped up. Then all of a sudden, out the corner of my eye, I see somebody and hear somebody down a few sections outside of the band, and they're just like, Pugs. And I'm just like, what in the fuck is going on? Everybody's looking around again. I'm getting like Vietnam flashbacks at this point. Like everyone's looking around, like, who the fuck is Pugs? Like, who is he yelling at? I see it's a guy who was the senior drum major my freshman year of high school. His name was Ben, and he is plastered, dude. You could tell it was bad. But but he just keeps screaming like, "Bug! I know you see me." And I'm like, "What? What do you want?" All right, like it happened again. I broke down. I was like, "What do you want?" He's like, "Dude, I got this party after this. You want to come?" I'm like, if I say yes, will you go away? And once again, double the size of the band that I grew up with in high school. Every one of these members and some of the student section know me as Pugs. And I'm like, fuck, I thought I got rid of. And I look down to the drumline section and I just see Emily looking up at me, cracking up because she knows what just happened. But that is the majority of how I got the Pugs name and everything, right? I've had it for the longest time, and now most of my friends don't even know my actual name. It's so
Like
fucked
legit,
up.
it took me a minute.
Right. Like that right there is probably the first time that I've told a lot of people my actual first name, you know.
Does it
And if you
upset
didn't,
No?
does it upset me?
Well,
I
okay,
mean,
does it irritate you still that this name is still your name?
No, either way, I'm kind of stuck with it at this point. Like, it doesn't matter what I think about it, you know. Everyone's gonna
I think with
I
a
always
nickname that you've
introduce
had that
myself.
long,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's almost
What?
like a point where you kind of are like you're more used to people calling your nickname than they are your actual name, so it's weird for you, isn't it? Right?
I mean,
Like if someone were to come up to you and be
weird's a
like, "Hey,"
strong
you'd be
word.
like, "All right." You'd be like, "All
I
right," like
mean,
that's normal, but like I don't go by that.
weird's a strong word, I'd say. It's one of those things where like if somebody does call me by my actual name, I'll respond because in a professional setting, most people don't know about my actual nickname unless I tell them. Or they see like one of my my email or whatever is PugJ, whatever the fuck, you know. But I'll get people all the time,
I
like
feel
most of
it'd
you
be weird
guys.
if you were in an
Whenever we go out, whenever I meet somebody new, you guys see this all the time. I always introduce myself as my actual name because everyone gets to hear it at least once
Yep.
before they're told something else forever, right? So I
Yeah,
always make a
the
point to do
the
that.
the,
And
the,
if you
qu- the
remember,
quote from
great.
Pugs
If
is
you don't, you know.
no Pugs. Every time that you've ever introduced yourself, like any of like people that I've like introduced you to, I just remember every time it's like, "Hi, my name's," but I go by Pugs. That's the only time you'll ever hear my name. All right, see ya. Like that's
And
it.
then
It's
the
kind
best
of a
part is
pet.
with the
Love it.
with the kids where they all try to guess his name, and right now they all think his name's still fucking Randall.
Right.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
dude, Colin, actually, that's a
So
good point. I'm
yeah,
glad you brought that up.
Pugs, you want to
Colin,
tell them about that real
do
quick?
you know how to bleep things out on here?
I could probably figure it out.
We'll fix it later. We'll make that like the one little thing. Nobody can ever know
Ooh.
my name, right? We're the only ones that'll know.
Oh, that's funny.
The cross kids are gonna look this up and pray to God that we ever say his real name.
No,
And
Yep,
they
and it's just gonna be
no,
the only part of the podcast that's bleeped
they
out.
can't know. They can't know his real
Yeah.
name. And right now,
I'll
for
make
some
No,
fucking
here's
reason,
the-
they think his name is
funny bit.
Randall.
Keep going.
But yeah, so
So
you talk about the kids and stuff like
Yeah,
that. All the
so-
kids know me as Coach Pugs and everything too, right? Which I got drawn into coaching by total accident. I got drunk golfing with Judd one day, and he was like, "Hey, I got practice day. You want to come check it out?" I'm like, I mean, I can't drive anywhere, so and you drove us, so I'm kind of going wherever
your
you
first,
go, you know?
Your first coaching debut was drunk.
Yes, this was.
No,
no,
just
he was just buzzed barely.
yeah.
No.
So actually, it's so fucked up. Actually, so we get done golfing. We stop at the gas station right there, off of the exit on 75, right, going on Swan Creek. And we stop in there. I grab a couple of twisted teas. He's got a big thermos in there, and I pour it in there. He's got the truck pulled up to the field and everything. I'm just chilling because I'm like, I'm not doing anything.
For disclosure, real quick, for disclosure, for if anyone who has coached Pugs wasn't there to coach that day. He was just
I
drunk.
was not.
And he was
Yeah,
there to watch. All right, I wasn't bringing him as a bad influence or any of that shit, but it just happened that he saw some stuff and he seemed to be sobered up. So I was like, all right, and I watched
Yeah.
him.
I was completely sober when I did start like talking about stuff because I didn't end up really drinking those twisted teas anyway by the time we got there. But the thing that caught my eye, so I played football, I played basketball forever, and I was a lineman in football, I was a center in basketball, and the whole game is about leverage, right? And I saw the way that these kids were digging at the ball, and they weren't actually making an effort to get the ball in front of them and get somebody behind them, you know? So I walk up and I'm like, hey, I got something that might help these guys a little bit. Can I show it to them? I show them like a quick box out drill and everything like that to really show how to get leverage and how you should move your body in order to get into a better position. And from that point forward, it was just like, okay, I'm gonna mess around for the rest of practice. I had never picked up a lacrosse stick before in my life. You know, I had no idea what I was doing with that. But Ethan calls me or texts me like the next week, and he said, yeah, the kids were asking like, when are you coming back? I'm like, I didn't have any intention on coming back. That was supposed to be a one-time deal. And now here I am going into like my 4th year coaching with this program. And now it's like the fucking nickname. I'm stuck. Like I can't get out now, you know. But that's one part of it. That's a big part of my life. Also, when I left Eastern, I had to leave after the first year because I couldn't afford to keep going back. I grew up in a impoverished situation, I guess you could say, in light terms. I grew up rough. It's just the way it is. But when I left Eastern, I worked at a factory for a little while. I worked at Home Depot for a little while, which technically gave me sales experience, even though your boy was born and raised a hustler, right? I ended up getting into the sales.
Bullshitter.
I
Sorry.
ended up getting into the sales field and everything like that. I got into auto sales, which was at this Kia store, which I was there for about 2.5, 3 years, give or take. And I mean, yeah, it was miserable, but I was really good at what I did. I wore a lot of hats, you know. There was a whole lot of stuff, but up until recent, I've just been in the sales field in general, and that's a majority of what I'm doing. I'm still working on my degree and stuff like that so I can be a teacher because I hate the sales field, but I just happen to be good at it. But hopefully I will be teaching the young here pretty soon. And that's a little bit about me.
All right. Popcorn.
Cole.
How do I have to follow?
So
How do I have to follow up this guy
basically-
who's got like? Yeah, I don't know how to follow up the guy with like 15,000 nicknames at this point because we've started to just make more. But yeah, I actually a lot of you guys end up having some stories about moving. I got really lucky and I was born and raised in the same town. So I was born in Trenton, and at the downtown at the time when I was born, we had a hospital there, which is no longer there. They're actually completely tearing it down now. A couple weeks ago, they started to rip the building down, but it's been closed for I don't know, a good 20 years or so. So I was one of the last people in the last couple of years that of it being open, where I was actually born there, raised in the same town. So I got really lucky. So for me, went to elementary school in Trenton, middle school in Trenton, all within like I don't know 2 miles of my house. So I really didn't have a lot of moving, and I went to obviously Trenton High School, played a ton of sports growing up. I think I tried every sport, and I wasn't great at some of them. So, like we played soccer, I played hockey, I tried basketball. I was terrible. So like Pugs knows, we went and played I think a couple months back. I am not super coordinated at shooting, but at least I can dribble okay. So that's not bad, and I can pass, but like shooting is miserable for me. I think I tried baseball once, and I probably swung with my eyes closed every time, and I gave up really quickly. It was not going to be the sport for me. Yeah, I mean, I could throw a baseball, but you asked me to hit one, it is a miserable effort. It took until I think I was an adult and somebody had been like, "All right, we're gonna do slow pitch like underhand softball for like grown adults," for me to even hit a ball like into the outfield. I think I was pretty terrible, so that's all right. But most of my life, I grew up playing hockey and soccer. When I got to middle school, this is where I started one of my other big sports, which was swimming. Actually, and I'm sure Drew will talk about it after, but that's where him and I mutually met, was through swimming.
Which is
Later
actually
in
a funny
college.
story. But
Oh yeah, that's a little bit about it. But yeah, I when I went to high school, I actually ended up stopping playing hockey, so I just did swimming and soccer for all 4 years. I was pretty good at swimming. I went to the state competition. Little did we know, Drew, were actually at the same state competition. But we kind of laughed about it later. But
it's
yeah,
like,
we
who's
were
this
pretty. I
guy?
was pretty good at swimming. So from there, like Colin had mentioned earlier, went to Central Michigan University. I never transferred or anything. Um, Freshman year, started going into clubs, so I went and joined the swim club. Little did I know, by the end of my first semester, I actually ended up being the vice president of the club, and then later
Bullshit.
president. So I had a lot to do with swimming. Oh, yeah, you call bullshit. I thought I was pretty good. I think I handled things well, but
You
by the
did,
end of
you
the
did.
freshman year, yeah, by the end of the freshman year, it's kind of funny that so Drew and I, like, the whole thing of us meeting for the first time was when we sign up for like dormitories in college. You sign up with like usually with people you know. You're like, hey guys, like let's sit together. Let's fill out a room. We only had 3 of us at the time for a 4-person room, and we're sitting there. And we're like, all right, fine. We found the room, and we filled it out. Everything was done, and we had randomly gotten somebody else that had signed up. We were like, okay, cool, let's find him online. Um, we make jokes about it because Drew had still had like his senior photo on his like Facebook and stuff. So we were like, oh my god, like this guy looks like really prim and proper and all this stuff. Like we were kind of making a lot of judgments about him. And not long after, it was probably like 2 weeks after Drew, you had
If
joined Swim. And we had met him for the first time. We were like, "Oh shit! Like, oh, we're gonna live together next year. Oh, it's so cool." It was the most random series of like meeting somebody like almost immediately after like being like, oh, who the hell is this person? And then it's like, okay, that's cool. So we actually got time to meet well before we moved in together, which was
which was like,
sweet.
it was just so funny
Um,
because it was like I signed up for just the random assortment because I was fine with my roommates that year, but I just wanted new people. And then my RA is like, you should join a club. And I was like, okay, I'll join the swim club. And then as I did that, sorry, I probably should wait until my turn, but I feel like this needs to be said now.
no, you're no, it's a good time to interject. But yeah,
Yeah,
it was kind of one of those where like he
yeah.
happened to just roll into it, and he was like, oh hey, I know these guys. Like,
Well, I
oh, we're
even
gonna live
messaged
together.
you.
So
I
it's
sent you a fucking Facebook message and be like, hey, I found out we're gonna be roommates next year, blah blah blah. I'd like to like meet
yeah.
before that, so we can just get to know each other. And you're like, okay, that was like only thing you sent.
No, I was like, oh yeah, like, or like, I was like, yeah, we can figure it out or something. And it was like literally the next week, you were like, oh hey, like you had shown up, and you were like, oh hey, you said something like about your name, and I was like, oh that sounds familiar, and I looked it up. I was like, oh wait, you're the guy that I'm gonna live with, and he was like, oh sweet, like that's cool. So, but
Yep.
it was really a nice coincidence, I think.
And here we are.
But yeah, from there, swimming. I did a lot of swimming in college. I also, after my freshman year, I joined club judo. So I'd never done martial arts. So some people were like, as kids doing martial arts, I was a grown college student being like, all right, I have no idea what's going on. So it was really fun. I think from there, Colin kind of mentioned it, but we had all met through a mutual friend. And we were spent some time together at a couple parties and doing some activities, obviously stuff like volleyball and different things. And we had kind of gotten through the sophomore year, and we're like, man, like living on campus sucks. This is expensive. Let's get an apartment. So we had all figured it out, found a place that was pretty cheap, and moved in together. So a ton of fun in college. I think we really had some of the best times, because I think some people have horror stories of roommates, but I think we had a good time. I think we all had a lot of really good.
I mean, I do actually have a horror
experience
story, but we'll get
together,
to
a lot
that.
of random adventures. Yeah, that's
Is
yeah,
it the banana?
Yeah, it is what it is, right?
But
The Oh, Drew, do you mean the light bulb situation?
no, I'm talking about my
we
freshman
would
year
like
roommate.
to play a game.
We have
No.
so many situations.
Oh, I know.
stories.
I'm messing with you. I was. Oh my god.
I'm a part of a
Yeah,
couple of them.
Yep.
I tried to gloss over some of them, because honestly, they're not that big of a deal. I
Yeah.
think. I think as I
No,
look at them
no.
now, I'm like, yeah,
The forks.
like they really. I mean, especially like my freshman year ones. I'll tell the one really short story. My freshman year roommates almost got me kicked out of my dorm because they were caught like smoking weed, got like incredibly high. They were drinking in our dorm room, having a huge party. I happened to be away for the weekend, and I get back like Sunday night, and they're all kind of sitting in the living room. I walk in, I set my stuff down. I'm like, hey, what's up, guys? You know, going to put my stuff away. And they were like, hey, we have to talk to you. I'm like, oh, what did I do? Like, what the hell's going on? And they're like, well, so we got in trouble. We got caught, blah, blah, blah. He's like, well, you're not in trouble. And I was like, that's good. Like, I wasn't here. And he's like, well, technically, if you were sitting in your room, even though we were doing stuff in the other room, you would have gotten in trouble too. I was like, oh, yeah, that's not cool. Like, that's really not cool, guys. Like, you guys can do that anywhere else, but here, like, don't get me in trouble for you guys being stupid. And yeah, so it ended up working out, but I got really lucky a couple times because they were a bit wild. They would like take stuff, and they did a lot of stupid stuff, and fortunately I didn't ever get in trouble for it, but I was really close a few times. And our RA was actually really cool, and he kind of knew that I was not doing stuff with them, so he was like, don't worry about it, man, you're all right. So, and yeah, I graduated college with a degree in human resource management. I got a minor in information systems, so that's kind of where I'm at now, and just been working for the last couple of years. So let's throw it to Drew Stifler, since I've mentioned him several times. So
Okay, I guess. So I actually grew up in the very, very dangerous streets of DeWitt, Michigan.
Yeah.
You are
Okay,
a bastard. You be real.
Fine. All right. So, I like Cole. I was born and raised in the same town. I was born in a hospital in Lansing, Michigan, which is the capital. And I lived about 15 minutes north of there, in a town called DeWitt. And DeWitt is kind of known for having a lot of more wealthy kind of families. It's not like a private
Excuse
school
me,
kind of
sir. Do you have any
situation. It
Grey
is a public
Poupon?
school. Shut up. It is still a public school, but it's definitely one of those ones where, like, you know how like school, how good a school is when it's public is kind of based off of the property taxes in the area. Let's just say the property taxes in the area were pretty high. So I lived there my whole life. I, like Cole, did kind of every sport at some point in my life, and I just kind of figured out which ones were my best sports. My freshman year, well, I guess okay, I guess I'll go. I won't go all the way to high school yet. I have one brother. He is 6 years older than me. He's in the military. He's currently in Virginia doing some education, but he's been to Germany and Arizona and some other parts of the U.S., Africa for a short while, all that good stuff. Him and I are very, very chill. We share quite the bourbon hobby. I actually just got him a couple of bottles he's been looking for forever, and I'm just that much better of a bourbon hunter than him, apparently. And And the sports I found I was the best at growing up were swimming, um, football, and lacrosse, actually. And my freshman year, however, I decided that because DeWitt's kind of known for being a big football school, and so they kind of brainwash you into playing football. So I was like, you know what? Fuck this swimming sport. It's so dumb. I'm gonna go play football. And it was, at least for me, it's not always true there, but at least for me, the environment that I was in was a little bit toxic on the team. So I ended up only playing for 2 years. So my freshman year, I played lacrosse and football. My sophomore year, I played football, lacrosse, and swimming. So I was a triple athlete, which was a little exhausting, but I was in pretty shape. Not gonna lie. And then I quit football my junior year and just focused on swimming and lacrosse, and I ended up being the captain of the lacrosse team. And then same thing for senior year. And as Cole kind of mentioned, we both had pretty stellar senior seasons, both going to states. I'm pretty sure, Cole, you went to states the previous year too, though, didn't you?
2 years, yeah, both.
Yeah.
But
I did not, but that
yeah.
was partially due to me obviously starting late because I was a dummy dum dum. I probably should have stuck with the sport I was definitely the best at.
He's a late
Um,
bloomer, baby.
um, and we actually, what was really cool too was the very last two swims of my high school career were obviously being at states. We were both of those swims. We were trying our best to actually break both the school records for them. And obviously, it's your last time you're going to do it, right? So this is your last chance, and we broke both records. One was the 200 free relay. That one we didn't care quite as much about because it was only like a 3-year-old record. But the 400 free record had been standing for like almost 30 years and was held by one of our coaches. And it was like the record to beat on our record board. Because quite honestly, the individual records are kind of unbreakable because the person that set them was a borderline Olympic athlete. So of course he was on that.
Yeah, Drew.
That what's up?
Drew, just to add to that, we had a guy in our high school that my senior year, he was a freshman. By the time he hit his senior year, he was actually so good he was going for records just because he could beat it. Like he was like, I think I'll go for the 50 free record. Like, yeah. I'm like, dude, what? The guy had like half the record board by the time he left. I was like, and he's probably gonna be a Olympic athlete one day.
Yeah.
He's nuts. He's
Well,
nuts. But
well,
I
was-
do not same thing.
Yeah, well, that was the reason why it was so important to us too. Because I mean, obviously, it was a relay event, so it wasn't just him that we beat; it was 3 other guys. But our team was just a little bit more well-rounded than theirs, evidently. So we ended up beating that record. And I tell you what, that was one of the best experiences of my life. I mean, the whole crowd was freaking out. We were freaking out. All it was funny though, is because it was we didn't actually do well enough in the first day to make it to the second day, like first through eight. Because we still made it to the second day. Let me rephrase that. But we were in the event that was you either got 9th or 16th versus first through eight, which is kind of dumb because even if you swim faster than the guys that swim the next heat down, it doesn't matter. The person that swims the slowest gets the 8th place. Person that swims the fastest gets first place. But either way, we broke the record. We were freaking out. People were like, "Oh, congratulations, you won this heat!" But we were like, "Oh, the reason we're freaking out as much as we are is because we were just broken a school record that we've been trying to break all year." And it's like, "Oh, okay, cool." So yep, that was a lot of fun. Then, as you have heard multiple times now, I went to Central Michigan. I majored in health administration, and my freshman year, my roommates were. Okay, well, I guess here's this story. So 2 of my roommates I had kind of met a little bit prior because we met on one of those like roommate apps or whatever, and we were chill. We were never like best friends by any means, which is why we didn't room the next year. But the 4th guy was a random. And that 4th guy happened to be in my room because my freshman year was one of those situations where it was 2 bedrooms with 2 beds, common area, and a bathroom. And the 2 guys had already met each other like a lot prior to me, so they roomed together, and I got the random in my room, which was like whatever, I guess. But turns out to not be whatever, I guess, because he was a nightmare. He was quite honestly a medicated schizophrenic because his parents, I'm pretty sure, just sent him to school to just get a break from him. which, by the way, don't do that, especially if your kid needs help. And he was, quite honestly, quite freaky to live with, because as I don't know if many of you know, but schizophrenics are a little bit weird to be around because they almost act like they're possessed sometimes, is what I will leave it to. I have some stories regarding that, but I'll try to keep it quick for now, just saying that. But thankfully, I think he and his family realized he needed some help. So he left 2 weeks later, really randomly. He left like a whole garbage bag worth of clothes too, and some other stuff. It was really weird. It was like we left for, I think it's, what is that one? Was it Memorial Day that time of year? Like that. And he never came back. So I got that whole room to myself though, which was fun. Because it was a smaller room too, so that made sense anyway. But
Or maybe it
after
was the
that,
fall break. I thought we have that in like a month or so into college, right?
I'm telling you, it was like
It's like
two
a long
weeks he
week.
was with me. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it must have been like the first holiday. You're right. I think it was the one where we
Yeah.
had like the Monday, Tuesday off or
Mhm.
something. But it was only like a
Yeah.
4-day weekend or something.
But I tell you guys what, he did some creepy ass shit. Like when I say possessed, I mean like imagine horror movies with a possessed person. That's really what it felt like.
Well, like a
And
3 or 4 in the morning, like
so
sort
yeah, okay. So that
of
actually
thing
is
where like he's staring you.
no legit. So he would. There was this weird thing. He without any alarm, and I mean this seriously because I'm pretty light sleeper sometimes. And without any alarm, he would get up at 3 a.m. like clockwork. I don't know how he did it, but he did. And he would go over to his desk and would just open the desk because it was like on those rollers, so I could hear it. And he just do that for like 10 minutes straight. Like he had no um, like goal in mind. He was just doing that. He would stand in the doorway, not staring at me, but just stand in the doorway, like looking towards my bed with his hood up, with a blank stare on his face. He would go out into the like common area, turn on the TV to like a static channel, and just sit there for a minute. It was creepy. Like I wasn't joking when I said all that. And then once he was gone, I had that room to myself. And then the second semester is when I joined the swim team, and I met Cole and all the other guys, including Colin. Because Colin, even though he wasn't on the swim team, his girlfriend at the time was, and we were chill with her. And he would come to like the dry land practices, which are those practices we don't actually get in the water. We do like cardio stuff outside of the water, and then we go have a fun game. We'll play volleyball or soccer. We couldn't play soccer for very long though because people were getting hurt who were a
Somebody
little
got
bit
injured.
unathletic. Because as the
Oh,
stereotypes probably
Drew,
as what's up?
let's give a little context. Drew is not the nicest soccer player. He
I
was a
was
bit of an
larger than
aggressive.
everybody.
You were a bit of a shin kicker. All right.
I was
You were
no
not
such thing. I
super
just
nice.
body checked people.
Shin kicker.
You seem
I
like
was just
a
a body. I
technician
was just a
kicker.
body
I
checker.
hated you. Oh no,
But
but because I had played so long, Drew was he made it his goal to stop me, and there was a couple times where he checked me pretty hard, and I was like, dude, relax.
no, yeah. Well, it was like I was trying to make
And then
up
Drew just
for the
told me to
fact.
like get good or something. I don't know. He yelled at me a lot.
Well, I had to make up for the fact
He's
that I
like, get
didn't
better.
like know how to play. Shut up, Cole. I was trying to make up for the fact that I never really played soccer by just playing like hard or aggressive or whatever. But apparently that went badly, so we couldn't play anymore. So we played volleyball and stuff like that. I don't know if we ever did anything else though, to be honest. We did yoga, but that was vetoed pretty
Yeah,
quick.
yoga was
You guys did yoga? That's
Literally
insane.
like twice.
Yeah, honestly,
I can already see
we did
Drew.
it a handful of times. It was
I didn't go to like 3 of them.
Drew goes to stretch a little too much.
Well, it was just
fun.
like so dumb. It's like this isn't accomplishing anything for me. Like
Man,
I'm
most
here to
I
like
stretch for anything is my hand to the fridge for a beer. Fuck.
Jesus Christ. But anyway, so you guys kind of know the rest. I roomed with Colin and Cole, and I thought you guys haven't met Nick yet, and probably mind bringing Macy on the podcast at some point. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we'll eventually have Nick on the pod soon. So
Yep. But anyway, you guys kind of know the rest. I graduated. Currently am working at a health plan right now. It's not necessarily where I want to stay. Probably definitely not where I want to stay, but it's a good starting job. And yep, that's about it. Let me see. Who could I possibly want to send this to next?
Popcorn.
I'm gonna go with
Oh,
Brock.
I wonder.
Ah.
You freaking tard.
Alright, let's give him a clip real quick.
That's
Let's give him a clip real quick.
imagine.
Yeah, so we can sit here
Imagine
for
the
another
joke of
30
that where
minutes
he
of
actually
silence.
pops in.
He's like,
God damn.
my name was spoken.
I felt a disturbance in the force.
They said my name. There's been a disturbance.
There has been.
The
Nobody ever
Brock.
talks about me.
Dude,
All right, Judd,
sneezing up a storm right
let-
now.
let's hear your life story, Jonathan. You were raised in as privileged of a town as
Alright.
me, I'm sure.
Yeah, so starts off with me. I was born at Detroit Mercy Hospital. If any of y'all know what that is, it is the ghetto of Detroit. That's where I was born. Fucking good old Detroit. And then I lived in Trenton for a little bit. I went to school, elementary. I went to preschool there for a little bit. You know, lived over.
We'll note
half
that
a mile
Ethan
away.
and I did not go to the same elementary school. We did not.
No,
go to the
I
same
was there before
elementary schools.
Cole. No, I went to Anderson. So
Yeah, I went to Headkey. We were on like the
Yeah, we're on
opposite
opposite
sides of
sides.
the suburbs.
But the one friend that we do talk about, Nick, and I went to school with him, and then he lived about half a mile away from my house, maybe, I don't know. But I lived there for a while. When I was born, I had a basic eating disorder, so my esophagus was closed shut, so I had to get my stomach cut open, and then well, Drew just left. I guess I can go fuck myself.
Yeah, good.
th-
Keep going.
Good. Then I had a blood disease that mimics leukemia to the day I was 4, so I was a bubble boy, and legit had to get my blood drawn every 2 weeks. That was fun. Right. Uh-oh. I think we might have a visit from an alien soon. Oh no. So yeah, I had that going, and that was a big part of my life for a long time. Then I moved out to Dundee. It's a little farm town, and I call it home. It's my spot. It's where I love. It's where I live. You know, it's where I want to live. It's a nice little spot. And I lived there for a long time. I went to grade school there. Played football. I wrestled. You know, I played basketball, baseball. I played every sport you can imagine. Soccer. My dad used to coach the soccer team because you know that's what dads do. So I did that for a
He's
long
been
time
playing
out in
now, though.
Dundee. In my summers, I used to go fishing on the river, go hang out with my cousins all the time, go ride my bike around town all day, find something stupid to do. I did that for a long time, and then when I got to I went to Dundee Elementary in middle school till about fifth grade, fifth or sixth grade. Then I went to St. Mary's Middle School in Monroe, which is a private school, and yeah, it was school. It wasn't my thing, but you know, it's where my grandma wanted me to go, so that's where I went. Also, just I don't know, to clarify, I was raised with a lot of ethnicities around me. When I say that, I mean I grew up with a lot of different backgrounds. I had my great grandfather was from Mexico, another one was from my great grandma was from Scotland, another one was from Spain, my other great grandma was from Italy. So I grew up with a lot of culture in my family, you know, so a lot of that played a role in how I grew up and things I did, you know. Like I've been to quite a few weddings where I wore kilts and stuff like that through the years. Scottish traditions and bagpipes. We have a family bagpiper, and the boys know about that. Except Colin. Colin hasn't been there for the bagpiper.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Bagpipe.
But I will fight you, you
Bagpiper.
son of a bitch. I'll fight all of you. But all right, back on track though. So we moved to Monroe when I went to high school, and high school is where things got a little interesting. I guess it's where I got introduced to lacrosse, which is my sport. I love it. I coach it. You know, I could have went to college for it. I got a state championship in high school for football because I was actually pretty decent at what I did for football. I was a D lineman and as a nose guard, and then I was a center for the offensive line. So and I also could do tackle and guard for the offensive line. And I liked high school a lot. I did pretty much every sport I could. I played Dungeons and Dragons with the boys. but I was part of the nerd crowd as much sports as I played. I also went to Catholic school, but I wasn't Catholic and I wasn't religious. So I used to get in arguments a lot with my teachers, who were my religion teachers, because they want to talk about some topic that didn't agree with the church, and I had the opposite opinion because, well, why not? And then, so after high school, I didn't really keep a lot of my friends. Keep in touch with a lot of my friends from CC. The only a few ones I keep in touch with were Adam, which we had on here, my buddy Weeds, and then my buddy Jack and EB. Really, and then I try to keep in touch with my buddy Kent. But most of my friends though, during high school, were actually from Dundee, and I still talk to quite a few of them. And then after I left, a lot of my friends became Trent, all like the guys you see now, and Trent, just people I picked up along the way. So after I graduated high school, I did try doing college. I had opportunities for college lacrosse to go to a bunch of D2 schools and stuff, and I just couldn't afford it, and my grades weren't the best. So I went to community college, tried that for about a year and a half, and I did okay. I wanted to be a business major, and I wanted to open my own brewery, so I just started taking business, so I have an understanding of how to do stuff, at least as a education wise. So I did all that, and it wasn't the easiest. I got bored a lot. I've got ADHD, and I'm dyslexic, so I can't really focus very well on reading and spelling aren't my things.
I'm gonna say ain't no kind of about it. Be careful now.
I'll kick you in the dick. But yeah, words were never my thing. Education wasn't really my thing. After school, after that, I kind of stumbled around for a minute, and then I found a trade that my grandpa used to do. I never got to meet this guy. He passed away before I was born, but I was always told stories about how he was like one of the best guys back in like the 70s for operating cranes. And in Michigan, he was one of 3 guys in Michigan to operate the tallest tower cranes. And I've only met a few guys who knew him back in the day, but I followed suit. I didn't become a crane guy, but I started operating heavy equipment like him. And I've had I have a lot of stories from operating heavy equipment, right, working on roads and stuff like that. And it's a hard life being a crane, being a heavy equipment operator, but sure as fuck pays the bills. So I started doing that for a while, and then I finally graduated my apprenticeship because I'm a journeyman now, and I started doing stationary school, and did all that. And then I kind of skipped a big part of my life too, is coaching. When I was 18, I got offered a spot to coach and run my own program for middle school. I didn't think anything about it. I was 18. And one of the moms who I coached her kids all the way through was like, we really want a team for the kids, and there's nothing around here that's super close. Would you want to do it? And I thought about it, and I said, yeah, I'll go for it. And this is for lacrosse, by the way. I started doing that, and 6 years later, now we're still going strong. More kids, more coaches. And it started off, I was 60 kids by myself at a little park, and just trying to, do my best. But yeah, like I said, 6 years later, look at us now. We're still going. We're trying to maybe even rebrand, try to take on high school spots, trying to go year round. And it's one of my big passions in life, and I always try to get my buddies to be involved, and I think it's pretty sweet. And nowadays, they just go to school.
By small children every day.
We get harassed by small children, and they think they're tough shit, and it's just like, you know what, you little bastards, go take a lap, see if you're tough after that.
It's okay.
But
we get
that's my life in a nutshell.
All of it back, Ethan. We get all of it back when we play the coaches game and we mess these kids up and win like 6-0, 7-0.
We get it back. We get it back tenfold.
Dude, there is nothing better than weaving and running through 20 children who think that they can take me down.
Dude,
there's almost nothing
Hugs had a
better
week
than when we
of
do
time.
contact drills and they try to knock me down. Like, we have this agreement where if these kids knock me down in like a pure contact drill,
we're going for a run.
Well, yeah, whatever. I don't even remember what the exact agreement was.
We
but
gotta
it
do a
was something
suicide.
like, yeah.
What? No,
Not once
gonna buy
have
them,
I
like,
had a kid.
or something.
Yeah, it was like buy pizza or something
No,
like that.
the pizza was for that was for Ben. You're thinking of the Ben deal. That was the pizza deal.
Yeah,
No, but
buying
we've
pizza is
done it.
a
I
pretty
mean, we've done
common
it
deal
before
anyway.
and stuff.
Even
Oh, yeah,
so, not once,
I
regardless
love
of
that we
what
try to
the
entice these
reward
kids to
was.
do their
Yeah.
jobs for lacrosse with pizza and like ice cream and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of what the reward was, not once in the past 3 years has a kid even knocked me back off of my stance, let alone onto the ground. And it's so
Well,
rewarding
only
because
once.
like I'll hit them back, and every once in a while I'll get a kid that ends up falling down when I push back, and it's like, I kind of feel bad, but I don't because you're wearing pads and I'm not. And like, you're fine. Your
Yeah.
parents are laughing, they're
Yeah,
being
I
entertained,
think we only
and they're paying for
had
it.
one kid. We had one kid make you stumble last year because you had a knee injury, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
smacked
I've had a
you.
chronic knee injury for like the last year and a half, and no, it was also because the kid was like standing behind me a little bit too, and I was like, okay, I don't want to take a
Yeah.
chance of this kid being behind me either. But even so, if I took my one foot like step back, I'm not falling down. There's no child at this point that's gonna take me down. There's no chance. Not until I turn at least 30, I'd say.
At least. But hey, guys, to come to conclusion, you got to hear about all our stories. Get to kind of get to know us just a little bit more. You can always ask more questions in the comments. About us. Or you can ask questions in general for all of us. Just ask them.
Oh shoot, is that
But
it?
yeah, man, we've been
Yeah.
going for about an hour 10, man.
Yep.
So
We're moving, man.
we were going, but yeah. So if you guys have more questions, comments, or concerns, about us, just ask them in the comments, and we will address them accordingly. But I think that was a pretty good
As always,
podcast,
throw in some
guys. What are you guys'
suggestions if
thoughts?
you have any ideas. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'd say
follow
we'll
us.
get back to our regular updates and everything next week. I'd say we got a lot of
Yeah.
things that we can catch up
I hope.
on. We
I
got a
hope that
whole lot of
they.
things
I
that are
hope that
ahead of us too.
somebody. Yeah. I hope they actually figures out Pugs' real name. If you do, make sure you advertise it to the public. Share it with everyone you know. Share it with small children. We might as well because it'll be funny.
Billboard.
Right.
Yeah, throw it on a
Yeah,
billboard. Make it fun.
but good luck figuring that out because we got expert editing on our side. So
Yep.
Right.
And I'll see you next time, guys.
Yep, follow us on all
Later.
of our socials.
Till next time. All right, time to get drunk and watch the Lion.